Welcome back to another reaction of raw, uncut, straight to your gut with something real, something you can feel. Brothers take over North Carolina jail. Bert T. Let's get into it.
And that is a group of the inmates out of the Bertie County Regional Jail who were being transported after taking over the jail and taking 2 guards hostages. Peace and blessings, all praises due to the Most High. There's a scripture that says, remember those in prison as if it were you yourselves. And that's why I always keep my brothers in custody in prayer and in thoughts, because there's a lot of things that go on behind those walls that you have no knowledge of. Now, I'm going to play this short news clip, which highlights what happened today right in here in North Carolina, Bertie County, which is about an hour and 30 minutes away from where I live, how the inmates, quote unquote, overpowered the guards and took control of the facility.
Shout out to Taylor House Publishing. Yeah, when I did my time, I had a lot of homies over at Bert T, and I never got a chance to go there, but it was wide open. I'm saying guards was, doing their thing, bringing that work in, selling that P. I'm talking about anything you want, you could get over there, you know what I'm saying? And I was trying to get over there so bad, but they would never let me go to powers that be because they said we had too much influence and had too many big cats over there that, we used all blood. And I was the biggest, me and another homie, and he was over there, so they wouldn't let me get over there with him because we had too many homies over there. But Bert T is like that too.
Just watch.
Breaking news out of Eastern North Carolina. Law enforcement working to regain control of a jail that was taken over by inmates. This is happening at the Bertie Martin Regional Jail. The State Bureau of Investigation says around 5 a.m., inmates overpowered staff and seized control of that facility. At the time, there were 3 guards and 88 inmates in the facility. One detention officer managed to escape. After several hours of negotiations, the other 2 guards were released along with a group of inmates. The SBI says another large group of inmates was released around 10 a.m. Multiple law enforcement agencies are at the jail right now, and residents are being asked to avoid the area while the investigation continues.
So now you heard that short article, and that leaves a little bit, once again, to be determined. They said that 88 inmates were in the jail and only 3 staff, and they overpowered those guards at 5 a.m. And then they said after lots of negotiations, the officers were released, as well as inmates were released. Now, I'm not sure what that means. You saw the inmates on the bus being transported elsewhere, so they looked a little happy. They was probably reveling in what they have done. But I want you to listen to how the sheriff describes the situation. And there's a couple of things I want to point out about what he says during the short press conference with very little questions. Just listen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chad with the North Carolina SBI, Chad Flowers. I'm going to introduce the sheriff of Bertie County, Sheriff Tyrone Ruffin. He's going to give you a statement. I don't think we're going to take very many questions, but we're going to give you an update on where we are and what we're doing actively right now. Sheriff Ruffin.
Thank you, Chad. Sheriff Tyrone Ruffin, Bertie County Sheriff. I'm going to release information about the critical incident that we had at the Bertie Martin Regional Jail this morning, that at 5 o'clock a.m., the Bertie County Sheriff's Office received a call at the Bertie Martin Regional Jail in reference to the jail had been taken over and that 2 correctional officers were held hostage. The first deputy was on scene within 2 minutes of the initial call and was not able to make entrance into the facility, as the other deputies had arrived and secured the perimeter to the building. All correctional officers have been released. and they are safe at the point receiving medical treatment. Okay, additionally, we have removed, the last count, we removed about 80 inmates, and only a few inmates remained in the detention center. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations has made entry into the facility and is working to secure and take the remaining inmates into custody. It has been brought to my attention that there has been some misinformation and some concerns raised about the facility and the care of the inmates. And as soon as I get the current situation and the current events under control, I will address the issues of the facilities and care of the inmates with the public as the investigation goes on. Okay, as things progress throughout the day, I will give additional details about our progress. I am committed to the citizens of Bertie County to be transparent and ensure everyone's safety, and that is including the staff at the jail and the inmates. There is no immediate threat to the public, and everything is contained to the facility. We have the total area under control, and we are working to clear this event as soon as possible and as safe as possible.
Okay, a couple of things that I have to question because he said they received a call from the jail to the sheriff's office. Now, most cases, the jail and the sheriff's office is at the same place. But even besides that, who made the call? If the inmates had all three guards in custody, was it the one who they said escaped? We don't know because they're being very vague about what happened. But also they said they removed about several inmates. They removed several inmates, and then the rest of them were taken into custody. Now, this wasn't a jailbreak. They were inside the facility. So in my eyes, they were already into custody, unless they're using that custody term as in control. We have control of them now because, you know, at one point, the brothers had the jail on smash.
Now, what they saying when they saying taking them back into custody, they probably gonna send them to Raleigh Central Prison and house them all on lockup and Supermax, waiting to go to court because they gonna get kidnapping, you know, all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably where they're gonna send them to.
Now, also, once again, the sheriff mentioned where we've addressed some issues talking about the care of the inmates. Now, inmates just don't take over a prison if they're being treated right. You know, if you're my age and you remember, not even my time, it was the Attica and uprising. It was a couple of more prison uprisings where prisoners were tired of the
CP Central Prison had one of the kidnappers of the officers too.
Treatment that they were getting. Now, I've been in jail. I'm in several jails all across America. At no point, you know, outside of the norm, but for the majority of, you know, the COs and, you know, if you file grievances or if you express displeasure, you get treated bad. Yeah, several people's relatives call me all the time about their relative not getting medical treatment, whether they're not getting, you know, they're being mistreated, they're getting beat by guards, poisoned by guards, all these things. And we've all seen some of the videotapes where brothers have actually been killed by guards. So I don't think that is a unvalid concern, considering the things that we know that goes on in prison, the things that I know personally that goes on in prison. Now, I just pulled up this other article. I'm going to let you play this because I guess it kind of highlights where these inmates are being moved to. And it was uploaded about 8 minutes ago. So this probably or may give us a little bit more information about, you know, what really happened. So just watch this as well.
New at 5 tonight, the SBI says the takeover at the Bertie Martin Regional Jail is now over.
The Bertie County Sheriff's Office says inmates overpowered correctional staff around 5 o'clock this morning and took that detention center over. This is what the scene looked like earlier today as agencies from all over Eastern North Carolina came to the scene to help.
90 Sides Ernest Strother was there and has more as they regain control and escorted those inmates away to other facilities.
The scene in Bertie County continues to clear after inmates took over the Bertie Martin Regional Jail at 5 a.m. Monday morning.
According to the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations, 88 total inmates were inside of the facility at the time of the takeover and only 3 guards. Shortly after the incident began, 1 guard was able to escape the facility and 2 guards were taken hostage.
The jail had been taken over.
Officials say at 9:30 a.m., negotiations led to the safe release of 18 inmates and the 2 guards that were held hostage, and they were able to exit the facility without further injury. At around 9:50 a.m., another large group of inmates were released and were able to exit the facility. Bertie County Sheriff Tyrone Ruffin had this to say during the press conference.
The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations has made entry into the facility and is working to secure and take the remaining inmates into custody.
While officials investigate to see what was the cause of this takeover, many of the community members who waited at a nearby gas station say the conditions of the jail is what they believe sparked this riot.
Them folks down there going through stuff and they humans just like everybody else. They got feelings. I don't feel like they should be down there having to suffer in jail. Yes, we all know you do the crime, you do the time, but why y'all got them down there suffering?
Sheriff Ruffin denied any connection to wrongdoing inside of the facility and that conditions are no issue.
There has been some misinformation and some concerns raised about the facility and the care.
Stuff been going on down at that jail. They not feeding them, not letting them take baths, not doing that thing, having them sitting out, sleeping on the floors and stuff.
Over 15 different agencies from across the state were in Bertie County to assist with the situation.
Officials say the Bertie Martin Regional Jail will stay secured, and they ask people to avoid the area at this time. In Bertie County, Ernest Strother, now.
And I believe that's a sister, because people have just called me about the Vance County Jail. Same thing, like people are complaining about these conditions, and you know, those things happen in jail. And the reason why they are able to get away with it, because just like the lady said, well, people feel like they're in jail, so they need to suffer. No, the punishment for committing a crime is the loss of your freedom, not mistreatment while you're losing your freedom. So that's what a lot of people can't grasp. So this is a situation. Actually, I just heard of another situation I have to look up, and this is reportedly in Fayetteville, but I have to confirm that. But once again, this is a part of the revolution. The revolution, people are getting fed up, whether they're in jail, in prison, in schools, in government. You know, people are fed up with the police, this tyrannical state that we live in. And, you know, these are the things that will happen. But I can't help but to think that that sheriff may be the fall guy, you know, because, you know, he is the black sheriff. So, of course, it's going to come down under his watch. It's going to be his fault, just like the black sheriff in Louisiana, where the inmates escaped. But it's well known that they were actually let out, and possibly let out to cause that black sheriff her job. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and hopefully what comes out with it. They're moving all of the inmates to other facilities. Why? Probably because they were being treated bad, and the inmates are probably happy. You see them rejoicing on the bus because now they get to go to another facility with better conditions. So shout out to the.
Yeah, they do that, but at the same time, they gonna hit all of them with ever how many they held hostage. If they assaulted any, they gonna get that. So they got a whole lot of things gonna be standing on their head, especially if a lot of them have bullshit charges where, you know, they was gonna do misdemeanor time or whatever. Now it's gonna be upgraded to felony if they all the 80 participated in the riot or the kidnappings and all that. So that's something they're gonna have to look into. And I'm gonna tell you, when you got a lot of YNs together with the mental health, drug use and all that, and the gang banging, all it takes is one spark and everybody gonna ride with them.
Brothers, you know, hope everybody is okay. The innocent officers, if they were innocent, because where is the mistreatment coming from? 9 times out of 10, it's coming from the COs or the deputies or the correctional officers. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for liking, watching, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, I pray you have peace and blessings.
Thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and like. It don't cost nothing to hit the like button. Until the next one, peace.